Valley Club, what is up? I am ValleyFlyin. This is DorkyDad, and we are in Los Angeles and just got done with day 2 of the Player Summit, and we got to test 3 main things today. The first was a rogue-like game mode. We'll give our thoughts on that.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
We'll give our thoughts on that. There's a new thing coming up, Ages, that Ryan Jacobson mentioned in the Strike Spot episode. There's some things we can talk about. Most of what we found out we couldn't talk about, but we'll reveal as much as we can about that. And then some of the big changes proposed to us about war. Yeah, that's pretty big as well. Let's start with the roguelike game mode playtest. We were the first 2 that got to test it.
Yeah.
Did it meet all of your expectations?
Yeah, I lost many times. I lost many times, chat, but I had fun doing it. It was great. We played a very broken down skeletal version of the game.
Yeah.
And just the structure of the game was more fun than Battle World. It was great. I had a lot of fun, and I see so much of what they're going for here. And the fact that in that strike spot, Ryan had suggested it's going to come out like Q2. Like, this is really cool. It's really exciting.
Yeah, they gave us a date for when they wanted to get released, and if it gets released, then I'm very, very excited.
Well,
but yeah,
my point is, it was not like last time. It was Battle World. Like, Battle World. It's like it's been like 12 months, guys. What's going on?
Yeah. So one of the big mistakes with Battle World, they didn't release it earlier. So what they want to do is get this out now, and it's not going to be in its finished state. And the version we tested was not finished. It didn't have all the UI, the interface wasn't stuff. It didn't have all that shine. It didn't look pretty, but we got to test out kind of the fundamental.
There was gameplay. There was gameplay.
Whoa. All right, so I'm not sure how much detail we could talk about, but I guess we started with a certain amount of characters that I guess is unfinished. I guess they haven't decided how many is going to be the first, but then we went into the battle first. Then we go into the shop.
It depends. It depends which track you go. So you get options. Like, do you want to go to a shop and you can buy things like modifiers to make your team better? You want to buy a new character, or do you want to go do combat and then you kind of earn a modifier, and then you can get a character where it's like, hey, you just get a character for this one. And it was basically a choose your own adventure, and depending what you did, the boss was crazy, and they went different with these modifiers. It wasn't like you get defense up, or it wasn't just scourge that we've seen in the past. Like, there was some creative things in there that was really cool.
It's pretty crazy. And I think in this environment, those crazy things that they can break rules, I'm super excited for that, because it feels weird in Arena or a Crucible to like break the rules of the game. But in this mode, it feels fun.
Well, it's PvE. You versus the environment, so it's okay to break it, especially because you can replay it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. So what I did, I didn't get any of the boosts, or I get some of the buffs. I didn't get any other characters. So sometimes you could get some characters, sometimes you get buffs. The team that you choose is really important, because the first team that I chose was pretty good. I didn't get it all the way to the end, but we got almost, I don't know how, the version that we had didn't have any points or anything like that, no efficiency, so I wasn't sure how far I got. But I didn't get to the boss node, because on the boss node in this version, Odin was on the boss and got to play that. But it was very fun. We had a lot of battles. I didn't choose any of the other characters because my team did pretty good.
Yeah.
Your first experience, you chose some random characters.
Yeah, I kept trying to make a build work. I'm like, okay, these guys' synergy is pretty cool. I want to use them, and I want to try and build off what I can get modified for them. And I kept trying, but I kept getting the modifiers for this guy's team. So eventually I cracked. I was like, I'm just going to restart. I'm just going to use this guy's team. I got the right modifiers. I crushed the boss. And I was like, all right, that was fulfilling.
Yeah. And I know some people didn't beat it in the first time. They went back. They tried it multiple times, and they were able to figure out a strategy to beat that based on the choices that they made. I think a lot of it is just choosing the right characters. If you choose the wrong characters, it's very tough. You choose the right characters, it's a lot
I think it's
simpler.
It's definitely that. And then which buffs you get. Which kind of build do you try and go with the characters you got? I'm sure what we saw, there's going to be a lot more combat modifiers.
Yeah, and this is the preliminary version is going to be a souped up version of this, and then the version that we ultimately get in the game is going to be crazier. And I hope a lot more fun. I think it seems a lot more fun.
Built on every time they run it.
Yeah, so I really like this because two main things. casual players can enjoy it. They could go through the run, at least the way it was described to us now. They could go through the run, get all these buffs, get all these characters. Not going to have a huge score, but they can get the pretty much all
The
the
lion's share of the
rewards,
Yeah.
the resources that you're getting from that. And if you want to do efficient, there's some other things that you get for that. So I like that it appeals to hardcore players that
Yeah.
can be efficient, or if you just want to get some rewards. What did you feel about losing? Is this a fun game mode to lose in? I know it's not fun to lose, but it seemed like you had a lot of. You're really excited that you
Okay.
lost in the game.
The problem was only 2 of us could test at a time, and I'm playing beside this guy, and I'm the one being projected, and I'm losing. He's talking all kinds of mad trash. So I'm okay with losing.
I was doing good.
I'm okay with losing. I'm just not okay with losing to him. All right, so it's different, but it was good because every time we start over, I learned something new.
Yeah.
So it's like if you want to be a sweat about this, it could be like
You
the
can.
old school
You can.
scourges, the first
Yeah.
powers where you got together with your boys. You're like, okay, what are you doing? How did that work for you? What did you do in the combat? Like, so I think there's going to be a lot of that kind of community drive behind it, especially in the first iteration, which will be dope.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. Let me know your thoughts on what you think is coming for that, your hype level of like roguelike game mode. I'm really just the decisions to make and not having to recycle PvE content. Something that they could auto-generate that the devs don't have to spend a lot of time making and then put in a game and then we play it for a little bit. This looks like it's something that has legs that could last. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about this. Other major thing that we talked a little bit about was the seasons that are coming, the ages. Now, this is a pretty huge change to the game that Ryan mentioned in the Strike Spot episode. I didn't pick up on it. I don't know if you did. I didn't.
Everyone was just like, oh, he's talking about like raid seasons, war seasons. Nope. Nope.
This
Nope.
this was a proposed change the entire economy of the game. I think there's a lot of good that this is going to offer new players and game players. I think
Yeah.
this is beneficial for everybody. But
For sure.
there's not much that we could talk about other than that. Is there anything else that was that we can talk about for that?
We were told that they've heard our complaints a lot about the various stores in the game, and that is something being worked on very closely, and some big things could be coming. Really good things that I think the community would be happy about.
Yeah, I like what we heard about that.
Yeah.
All right, you're more of an expert on war. I've been playing war casually. Some of these changes might make me change because I've never liked having to be on at a certain time and then come back and do the perfect attacks. I just want to go do all my attacks and go. How excited for these changes were you as someone that plays war a lot more serious than I do?
Well, it was really interesting because it is a fundamental change to war. So it wasn't a fundamental change, the last change, it was a structural change. They structurally changed. Instead of starting with 4 attacks and being able to buy 4 attacks, you start with 10, you go buy 4 from the get-go. So theoretically,
Changing details about the structures remain the
that
same.
was the structure. This is a fundamental change
Yeah.
to the actual approach you take to the strategy and the combat. And I think it'll be a lot more exciting for players. And at the highest end, we know some players that go crazy with war.
Oh, there's
and they
really serious players.
You get babysat. We're talking about like hours and hours where it's like, okay, this team just showed up. You have to take this team out. You got pinged again. Like you have to show up to take this. And for those alliances, this will address a lot of that, which is great. I'm excited. It looks cool.
All right, so what they wanted to do 3 things with this to just stop some of those high level wars, the stress that's on. So they wanted to move the strategy more from scoring and efficiency more towards high level strategy instead of the efficiency. So focusing more on boosts, room bonuses, room placement, things like that. So that's one thing that they wanted to do. The other thing that they wanted to just get efficiency out of the scoring. That was another thing. They wanted to be based on something else. And they want it to be made more difficult to full clear.
Yeah.
So with those 3 things that they had in mind as far as goals, what they wanted war, do you think that the proposed changes do that effectively?
I think that they can. I think there's still tweaks that need to be made. I think that they can. And I think I would be most excited about the not full clearing aspect of it. Like I talk a lot about, I want content that is challenging, but that I'm not going to always beat it. And when the expectation is you're going to full clear and it's going to be efficiency based, that puts so much stress on every single individual attack, 336 attacks total in war, right? And that's where that crazy micromanaging comes in. That's when you're starting to count individual losses to have a different metric than efficiency than than a person's individual loss. That could revitalize the mode in a big way. That's what I'm most excited for.
So one of the big things that they talked about, and they're still working out the details how they're going to have this, but as the war goes on, the attacks get harder and harder and harder, which is going to make it harder to full clear, which means that strategy can evolve. Which ones are going to take out first? Are you going to try to get more points, or are you going to try to make battles easier? And that's where the strategy is going to come out. I don't know. I do want to try this new version of war, because one of the things I didn't like about war was just not being able to attack when I want. So if it's based on, doing this kind of strategy, it might be a lot better for someone like me that likes to play it casually.
Well, I think what Scopely has done in the last month that I actually enjoyed. I didn't like dropping down to 2 wars per week, but I like that they were trying to experiment with the mode to see if it can be made more universally enjoyable. And I think something like this, even if it comes for a season and you play it on the community, gets feedback on we want the old order back. I think that they are ready to pivot, to take chances, see what sticks, see what the community really likes, and work their way from there.
There were some high-level war players in the room there.
Yep.
I don't want to call them out, but what do you think what do you think of the general vibe of the room, reception to this for some of the higher level players?
It was curious. They didn't shut it down. And
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Good.
And it's because they were very vocal about them not enjoying the current state of things. It was too much right now.
Yeah.
So it's okay, I want to see this. I want to, that's the vibe I got. I want to see it in action. Let me get my hands on it.
I want to see it in action.
Yeah.
I want to, maybe, I think it sounds good, but I just kind of want to see. Let's see. And if it's not, they can revert it back. If the community likes this, keep going down this road. But I think this sounds like a pretty cool thing.
There's a lot of stuff coming up.
There's
a lot
we're in
of
a
cool
big
stuff.
upswing. We're in a big upswing.
Yeah.
We're in a down part for a long time. The old man Logan trials, Captain Britain, the character release cadence. But I think we're coming out of that. I got a lot of hype coming up right now.
Yes.
Then Battle World fell flat on his face. So now they got some new things coming up. There's still more changes that they want coming up to Battle World to get it to that state that they initially pitched us. So I'm excited right now. So any other final thoughts, brother?
No, I'll get myself in trouble if we keep going. I'm already in trouble for sure.
All right, this video might be too long, so I'll see you guys next time. We'll be back in the studio, both of us, and make sure you check out Dorky's video as well. I'll see you guys next time.
No.
Real one.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Whole fist bump. DorkyDad, ValleyFlyin out. The power combines, baby.